The question was, are kids any meaner today than they
Yes.
ever were?
I think that the level of dysfunctional families today is greater because when I ask the kids, one of the questions that I always ask is, why does somebody become a bully?
Mm-hmm.
And invariably, the first 2 or 3 answers from the kids they always say that because they've got problems at home. So I think kids are experiencing more serious issues in their home that kind of spill over, and their peer group bears the brunt of that. But probably even more important is, I think, the level of incivility and cruelty in the media. I think kids, the toxic atmosphere, whether it's television or music or stuff that goes on the internet, Facebook, MySpace, the language that kids are using, the mean-spiritedness that exists in our environment is just seeping in to their language. You know, I like to say that when our kids were growing up, when we were raising our children, our reality show was Leave It to Beaver. And if you would have put kids in front of Leave It to Beaver today, I mean, they would howl and laugh. And today they run home to watch Jerry Springer. So when you've gone from Leave It to Beaver to Jerry Springer in 20 years, you can understand.
So do you think educators today have a better handle on bullying than they did 10 years ago?
I do. I believe that there are either 37 or 38 states that have now passed anti-bullying legislation. And I was very involved in the Kansas legislation. I was fortunate that my representative at the time and my state senator at the time were willing to listen to information that I had, and they introduced legislation in the House and Senate, and then I brought students with me to testify, and the students were so persuasive that the legislation got passed the first time it came up for passage.
What does that mean?
Well, it means there's good news and bad news. The good news is that the law states that every school has to have an anti-bullying policy, that they have to implement a bullying prevention program, they have to have a plan, and that they have to train the staff. The bad news is that there was no money that accompanied the mandate, and there really isn't, there wasn't accountability in the bill.
Mm-hmm.
But that's beside the point. A lot of schools, even without the legislation, are just concerned about safety of their students. And the legislation just added, more weight. And I would say that even when I'm invited to go do my work in schools, it's not because they haven't done something. It's just that they don't feel that what they've done has been effective, or they are inviting me because they really want to look at how they could take a comprehensive approach.